Hi, welcome to the Holism video blog. In today's episode, I'm going to be taking you through a complex mobility pattern for the hips. Now, the 90-90 glute roll mobility drill is something that many of us know and enjoy. I'm going to give you a variation on that one today. So I'm going to start going to my left just in the glute roll. So roll down, reach out, try and stretch. Try and load up the posterior hip if you can. So rather than use your hands, if it's possible, try and go without the hands. If you're not able to go all the way down without your hands, use a finger or two fingers. Use as little help as you possibly can, but as much as you need. So I'm going to load up the posterior hip. I'm going to go down hopefully towards end range of movement, and then I'm going to have to activate. I'm going to recruit the muscles in that position and drive myself back out, where I'm going to roll to the other side. Once I get to the other side, that's where I'm going to try and introduce the complexity in the drill and try and be as precise as I can about getting my left hip to do exactly what I'm asking of it. So I'm going to take it up into abduction. I'm going to swing it around into hip flexion, at which point I'm going to start to draw the numbers 0 to 9. Now you can add any shape that you like, any letter, any number. You can write sentences or you can try and draw a picture. Whatever floats your boat, essentially. It's the complexity and the precision of the drill that is going to give you the benefit. Now, if you're looking to increase range of movement, then pushing that leg through novel patterns is a great way to do it. So a couple of things to consider. If we take the leg through novel patterns rather than just pushing it in the straight up and down plane that you would typically go and stretch through. So rather than taking it through the habituated range of movement that you would typically attempt to stretch that leg through, introducing a novel stimulus can kind of trick the brain a little bit into not realizing that you're actually stretching so much, and you won't get the same habituated tightening response. The other thing that we're doing by connecting areas of the brain to the areas of the periphery, by taking the leg through all of these complex patterns, is we're essentially getting the brain to understand and realize that there is all this new range available, and you start to expand the motor maps in the brain, and the brain starts to understand that it does have control over the leg at these end ranges, thereby allowing you to start to increase your range of movement. So the drill looks a little something like this. If I start in my 90-90 position, try and be as upright as you possibly can, and from here I'm going to slowly lower myself down, reach out if you can, taking the arms out further increases the load. Again, if you need to use the hands, you use the hands. From here I'm just going to roll to the other side. Now, it's in this other side is where the complexity is going to start to be introduced. So from here, I'm going to take this hip up into abduction. So not external rotation, you'll see people just lift the knee like so. I'm going to demand that my hip maintain the same degree of rotation. Okay, so I have to control that, and it's hopefully just pure abduction. From there I'm going to take it out to the side, flex the quad, bring it around, and then in front, brace the abdominals, raise the leg up as high as you can, and I'm going to start to draw a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3. Now you can draw more lateral, you can draw more medial, you can go higher, you can go lower. It doesn't really matter where you draw, but as long as you're attempting to be as precise as you possibly can, go slow, and when you feel yourself wanting to try and cut corners, slow down, pause if you need to, and complete the drill as precisely as you possibly can. Now, cramps are kind of your best friend in this one. So one caveat is you probably will experience some cramp, particularly with those hip rotations. Cramps are essentially just your brain going through a trial and error process and attempting to execute the pattern that you're asking, and it's just gotten it wrong. It's produced a suboptimal recruitment strategy. You don't need to stay in the cramp. The cramps are there and teaching you, your brain is learning from that feedback, but you don't need to sit there and suffer through it. So if you get a cramp, come out, stretch, go straight back in. You'll find after 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 rounds, sometimes the cramps will just magically disappear, and all of a sudden you'll have some function there. The brain will have learned, you will have driven new connections around that particular movement. So play with it, have fun. You can definitely increase your range of movement using these drills. You need to concentrate. It will feel challenging, but at the end of the day, it's an exceptionally quick way to increase your range of movement.